Hi, all you wonderful people. This is Latios with Living with Valor, and I'm here to continue my transition series. The last we spoke about survivors' triggers to transition, and we touched on recognizing your triggers. And then we also discussed about self-love. As you know, going into the next phase of your life to actually experience transition does require self-love. And I gave some examples of what I did to develop that self-love. We also indicated that we spoke about getting a new group of friends or creating a new environment, inviting new things to come into your life. And that you may have to either cut some old strings, some old friends and families, or put some of them on the back burner to move into that transitional phase. But the number one thing you do need to know is about self-love. That's very, very important, is the self-love. Because in order for you to be able to up the price of your stock and write your own narrative, you have to love yourself first. So, see, a lot of times as women, and this is like a repetitive and like beating a dead horse, and I've heard this all before, that we put everybody first but ourselves. Well, coming out of abuse, that's going to be very hard to feel worthy to put yourself up ahead of yourself, to put yourself first. You know, I had a conversation the other day with, I would say, my neighbor. And I won't mention her name, but we have these prejudgmental things that we don't realize that we do. And I must say that even though we're human and we try not to be, we all prejudge. But somehow the universe made it so that we can both run into each other, and we had this intimate, beautiful discussion. And it was so wonderful because in this discussion, she was, she works 2 jobs and she's raising 2 teenagers. She's a single mom. We've heard this story and we all have a backstory to tell. But when she shared her story with me, it opened my eyes to a whole nother level. And the one thing I said to her, because she said, I really want to make more money. I don't want to work 2 jobs. Because I had asked, how long do you think you'll be working 2 jobs? And as she shared her story and where she come from, and she didn't have to even express the things that she shared with me, and I won't share that with you, but I said, you know what? I think you're ready. I think you're ready because you recognize that you want something more. But one thing I said, she goes, I just want to make X amount of dollars. I don't want to be greedy. And I said, whoa. What makes you think that you're greedy? Who says that you're greedy? And she goes, well, my friends and family. And I said, see, we fail to realize that it's okay to be able to make a lot of money if that's what you need, and that we shouldn't let anybody to tell us what we can and can't make and what's convenient for you or not convenient for you. You can be okay with saying, hey, I want to make $100,000 a year. I really do deliberately remember telling somebody, you know what? She was telling me she made X amount of dollars, but it took her like 8 years to get to that. And I was like, whoa, that's not going to happen. And what she was making took me within 1 interview. And I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying I know my self-worth and I know what I want. See, the thing is, we're always listening to what other people want instead of just saying what we want. And then not letting somebody deter and say, no, you shouldn't want that. This lady told me, and she was a coworker, not to digress, but it's coming full circle back. She said, I told her I want to make 6 figures. I want to make 6 figures and eventually 7. And she said, don't be greedy. And I said, greedy? Why am I greedy? I said, is Beyonce and Jay-Z greedy? And she goes, no, but they're entertainers and they're okay. But see, why is it that I'm considered greedy? Because I want to make X amount of dollars. I want to flourish in my life. And this is the problem with people, is we allow others to dictate what our narrative is. Don't allow someone to dictate your narrative. So I spoke to my neighbor, coming back full circle, and I said, you're not greedy. First of all, why do you not feel like you deserve this? And we got more into a deeper conversation. Remember, I'm an eclectic coach. So I'm coaching her and listening into her story. And I said, I think the first thing you need to start on is your self-worth. but I think you're ready because you recognize all the points. She pointed out everything about why she didn't feel like she wasn't worthy. And we got to it, and we had a 45-minute conversation, our first real interaction since we moved into our community. And she shared this with me, and I felt so honored that she shared such an intimate thing with me. And then I said, okay, so I told her I was going to do some work for her, and then she was very grateful. But when you're transitioning, and this is the thing, is these steps that I'm talking about are not just about dealing with abuse. This is about life skills, about stop being a victim like, well, my mom, if it weren't for my mom or my parents not investing in me, if we didn't have such a hard life. That is out the door, because there's so many opportunities. I'm not saying that some people don't have a privileged life, like they have money to do what they do, and it may be an uphill battle, because it may be, but don't say the opportunities are not there. You have the right and the opportunity to write your own narrative. You cannot allow someone to tell you how you want to be. And so when you're transitioning from abuse, the first thing is you have the right to say, I'm going to put me first. This is the beginning of me writing my own narrative. There's nothing more powerful than investing in you. You are going to get the best return ever. So let's start with that first part of your introductory into transition, and write that first sentence and say, I'm putting myself first, the beginning of my new narrative. This is Ladios Muhammad. See you at the top, because the bottom's too crowded. Remember, and remember, you have to live authentically and live with valor. See you soon. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for listening and following me. Have a great day.